contradiction, Michael, because you mentioned earlier that people take vitamins. You refer to vitamins as being false science or something, but then you're saying that we need vitamins. I've been told all my life, you get your vitamin A, your vitamin E, your vitamin D when you're pregnant, folic acid, all these things. Nobody's ever told me that's not a good idea.
Nor will I, and nor did I say that. You get your vitamins in food. There are some exceptions.
Supplements are good sometimes.
Almost never, but vitamin D is one.
So
folic
to take it in a
acid
pill
is
is a waste of money.
It depends, but folic acid isn't a waste of money. Vitamin D isn't a waste of money. We don't need pills for vitamin A because even though it's good for our vision, we don't have vitamin A deficiency in this country. 0 people are blind because of it.
0 people have it, and yet you'll sell it to you anyway.
In every store
and
you can
I
find.
would call that irrational thinking that hinders scientific progress.
So these nutrition
Perhaps
centers...
denialism would be a good word for that.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous scams.
But that doesn't mean that we have the same situation in India.
What about the idea that we have destroyed our natural food supply to the point where we're not getting the proper minerals and vitamins that we once
Food
did?
doesn't have the minerals.
It's completely untrue. We make a lot of food that we shouldn't be eating. We eat a lot of fat. We eat hormones and antibiotics. We shouldn't be doing that. We can stop doing that. But we haven't destroyed our food supply. You can go down the shelves of any supermarket in this country and get the vitamins you need very quickly, cheaply, and easily. You don't need to take the pills. Antioxidant formulas, they're probably like $300 million worth of them for sale today in Seattle. They're completely useless.
How about all that acai berry and pomegranate juice? That's all falls under that category, you think?
No, I don't. I know that it does.
You know it, huh?
Now,
I mean, it tastes good. I like a good
This will be
pomegranate
controversial in Seattle, and I don't know if I totally buy this, but you are kind of against organic foods.
I'm kind of not against organic
Well, it sounds...
foods.
All right, let me explain. Let me read your paragraph.
I'm so glad you showed up. I am. I really am.
It says, but you're good at tweaking people, which I have a serious appreciation for.
Okay.
He explains the many benefits and possibilities genetically modified foods provide and exposes the damage many of us unwittingly cause when we instead reach for organic foods at the grocery store.
You're not reading from something I wrote.
I'm reading from...
Because I didn't write that.
Your publicist wrote that.
Your publicist wrote it.
Love her, yes. Totally right.
What's your take on organic foods?
My take on organic food is the following.
She wanted to get you radio interviews. She doesn't care whether it's true or not.
Carolyn, I love you.
Yeah.
I eat organic food. I buy it. I live in the rich Western world where I can afford it. It tastes better to me. That's why I buy it. There's no nutritional value in buying organic food. Now, that doesn't mean that genetically...
There are a lot of people that will argue very differently, that we've depleted minerals from the soil with these huge agribusinesses, and that organic foods grown in a better soil will have better vitamins. You don't disagree with that, do you?
You're talking about ways of growing food.
Yeah.
You're not talking about the food.
Whether it's organic or not, we're talking about the way it's grown.
And organic food uses chemicals, and those chemicals can be misused. And the earth can be over-tilled and eroded, and it often is. What we need to do with organic food and genetically engineered food is use less pesticide, use insecticide intelligently, do something to preserve the water and the resources we have. And by the way, in many cases, genetically engineered food should be like heaven sent for environmentalists. Less insecticide, less emissions of carbon, less use of energy, less use of water. If you use it right, it's something that can really
You're tweaking everybody. Yes, Eric.
No, I love this. Well, and we also know that the demand for food is going to double in the next 25 years, so we got to do something. But I want to know, are we heading for a new dark age? Because if there's all this resistance to science, does that mean that we're actually going to be stopping policy?
Well, I'm not one of the dark age guys because I believe that as long as you people are ridiculous enough to have me on, we can have these conversations and that will help. But I think people need to talk about this stuff. When I talk about organic food, first people yell at me. And then when I say your objections aren't to the food, really, they're to the companies, lots of times they say, yeah, that's true. And we can work on that stuff. We can work on the vitamin things. People, they swallow a lot of vitamins because they hate the drug companies.
Let's talk about hating drug companies.
Okay, I mean, people can go to town on hating drug companies. They're kind of hateable. But when you get upset about the cost and the predatory actions of a pharmaceutical company and you walk into your local alternative drug place and you see these natural vitamins, why do you think they're natural? Why do you think they're being sold as a favor to you? Why do you think that it isn't a corporate thing? And do you know what you're swallowing? Because they don't regulate it very well. I mean, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin. Who's making it? How much of it? How pure is it? You don't know these things. Now, that doesn't mean that pharmaceutical...
Well, if you got a good witch doctor.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's where we're moving.
Yeah.
Now, there are real reasons. I should say there are real reasons. I mean, our healthcare system is despicable. It costs too much. It doesn't take care of us. And people naturally are looking for something else. It's just that this something else almost never works.
Now, you mentioned the antibiotics and hormones in the food, and I'm thinking meat in that way. I read an article in Time Magazine that scared me to death and wanted me to start raising pigs in my backyard just so I know where they come from. Do you see that as being a real problem, the antibiotics in meat?
Antibiotics.
I see it as a real problem.
Okay.
Now, how about cloning meat? Because I'm pro-cloning. If you get the perfect cow, why not make $1 million? I think we should...
Where did you come from?
Sweet, isn't he?
Well, I mean,
Charming.
If you've got one good cow, one clean cow, when there's no hormones, or I don't want stuff in my meat. But if I find good meat, I don't see the problem with making more.
Xerox, another one.
Do you see an issue with that?
I think it's more complicated than you might have.
Are you sure you wouldn't like the tequila I offered earlier?
Yes, intravenously if possible.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Denialism, how irrational thinking hinders scientific progress, harms the planet, and threatens our lives. You will think you might be tweaked. Give it a shot. And Michael Specter, thank you very much. Very nice to meet you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
We'll put a link up to the book on our website, bobrivers.com.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
The Bob Rivers Show. Bob, Spike, and Joe.